Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you think you're still gonna be home around 4 o'clock? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. I didn't eat anything for breakfast yet. Harry ate like a bunch. Well, I have pizza bagels in the oven right now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I should. I love you too. Bye. Oh, I'm already streaming. Oops. Hey. My computer crashed. It's a brand new computer. But for some reason, it crashed. Oh, I just realized I have my playlist up. Okay. Ignore this. Why isn't that playing? There we go. Hey, not streamer. I probably have like doxing information up. Don't track me down to come and eat all my cookies, okay? Okay, I'm reviewing books here. Author Oracle, are you here? Probably not. She was here a second ago. What about your dreamsicles? I need to go get them. I should go get it now. Although I gonna spill all over my dress. I'm very bad at eating those. I got some pizza bagels, or not pizza bagels, but like these like little mini pizzas that I have in the oven right now. That's what I'm gonna have for lunch. Very excited. Okay. Author Oracle, Wet Pavement. I'm gonna wait on Author Oracles because I think she's going to show up. Let me at her. Okay, Author Oracle. Oracle? No, she's not on here. Okay. Made me feel like I would never try again. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight into Acorn DeFalco, Sullivan Siblings, and Two Name. Let's review theirs really quick. Why is it? Go. I thought you ended the stream. No, it crashed. My computer crashed. Also, hi. Hey, Sasmita. Why is this not working? Come on. Come on. It worked for Author Oracle. Nice. Okay. Sullivan Siblings. I'm about to review this book. Okay. So, immediately I like the cover. I like the picture chosen. I like that it is Yeah, I like this cover. It's a nice bright picture. You get like kind of like a friendship thing, Sullivan siblings. You can tell that this is kind of going to be a story about a brother and a sister, or two brothers, or whatever, some siblings, and their bond. So this is awesome. Love the cover. Love the title. The combination is great. I don't really have any notes on the title. The font choices, fine. If you want to make it look a little bit more polished, I would put either a lift or a shadow behind the font that you've chosen, if that is an option, and it would look just a little bit more polished. But other than that, it's kind of great. So this is a great title, or this is a great start. Great cover, great title. Okay. Let me pause. I'm going to actually pause my music here. Okay, so let's read this summary. It's ongoing. It's mature. It is another thing that I always really like to do is I like to read this kind of like, holy crap, what? Okay, so I'm just looking at the top part here. This, as a Wattpad reader, I do always see how long Wattpad anticipates me to take to read this. 13 hours and 2 minutes is crazy long, and it's ongoing. So this is a very long book, which is crazy. That happens sometimes. My first draft of my book was like 2 days. It was like insane, or something crazy, or like 24 hours. So no judgment here, but that is very, very long. But let's look into it and see if it's probably the right type of genre to be really long. A lot of times, literary fiction is long. So that's probably what this is about. But sometimes literary fiction is very, very short. It just depends on your audience. But anyways, that's just something I look at as a reader. I would look at this and be like, oh, 13 hours? Never mind. That is like a 2-week read or something. Like, that's a very, very long book. Unless I'm not reading any other books, this is going to take up more than just a week in my day, or a week in my life. And that is a long time, considering I have a lot of books to read. However, again, I'm just saying, that's just something I consider when picking out books. If it's too long, that might scare me away. Just FYI. Okay. Summary. Ivan Sullivan is the typical older brother turned legal guardian. Oh, I love this already. Great opening. His catchphrase is, "Don't meet trouble halfway." Of course, his advice is something his younger siblings do not listen to, especially the baby of the family, Huxley. Petty, sassy, sarcastic, rude. There isn't anything Huxley won't say or do to prove she can keep up with the boys. Somehow, still sheltered, she encounters plenty of embarrassing situations made worse by overprotective brothers. Light-hearted takes a twist when past trauma surfaces and memories remind them not all is as it seems, or should be. Who really is Ivan Sullivan, and what terrible secrets is he hiding? Stubborn, bullheaded Huxley is about to find out. Great summary, Acorn DeFalco. This is awesome. I really, really like this. That's a great way to start. Yeah. I love the start. So summaries are a really good impression for the book, obviously, but they can also be a good impression for the writing style. I can see here that you are a bit of a wordsmith, in the sense that where it's like, this summary was really nice for me to read and get an idea of your book. So I think you used a lot of really great adjectives, which are a tool that I feel like a lot of writers don't use quite enough, which was really nice. This is very short, very sweet, excellent summary. I do notice some punctuation, like grammatical errors here, which in my experience, that is hinting that I should be expecting that in the rest of the book as well. Just to know that this, it's an amateur book, you can expect that. But if it's in your summary, which you would generally have a little bit more polish than the rest of your book sometimes, because it's supposed to be like the face of your book. If it's in your summary, it's definitely going to be throughout the rest of your book. So I do see some grammatical errors here. So the who really is Ivan Sullivan, you need to get rid of that comma after really. And then you also need to change up the punctuation here as for remind them not all is as it seems or should be. That's not a new sentence. I would say that that's an M dash or a comma with without the comma after or, and maybe italicizing should. I don't know. But the rest of this is kind of perfect. I love this. Started December 2023, finished April 2024. It's listed as ongoing. So if it's not ongoing, you have to, if this is a completed work, you should mark it as complete. A lot of people will wait to read a book until it's complete because they're, you know, a lot of people are wary of taking the time to read a book that's not finished. It pisses them off. Especially if you get really into a book and you realize the person hasn't updated in like 2 years and you realize you're never going to learn what happens in the end. That's why a lot of people wait until something's completed. If it is completed, take care of that. Hang on, I think my stuff just disappeared. I've been having some issues with Streamlabs lately. Not really sure what the deal is. I'm just gonna... That's better? Okay. So anyways, great summary. You have my notes on that. The tags are big family, brothers, Canadian, funny, hidden past, murder, mystery, petty, physical abuse, satire, secrets, siblings, slow burn, Sullivan siblings, and trauma. Hang on. My pizzas are out of the oven. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I love Big Family as a tag. I love Brothers. Canadian is also great. Funny, a great one. Hidden past, murder, mystery, petty, physical abuse, satire, secrets, siblings, slow burn, Sullivan siblings, and trauma. I like all of these. I would probably get rid of Sullivan's siblings. However, that is the name of the book. I have seen people do that. Sometimes it helps with the searchability of your book because Wattpad, you know, is kind of famous for sucking at being able to search books. I wouldn't say get rid of it, but it's not going to help you as far as like, it doesn't help as far as tags are supposed to work. Just leave it. It's fine. So you have opportunity here to add some more tags, which really you can't have too many tags. There's a limit to 25 tags in your book, and you should take advantage of the tag options. Okay, you want to use as many as you possibly can. It helps people to find. It just helps your audience find your book. It helps you find your audience basically. So if somebody is really into, you know, youngest sibling type of books because they're the youngest sibling and that's like they're kind of like their identity or whatever, they might want to look up youngest sibling, you know, or it for me as a reader, I use the tags when I'm picking out a book as like bullet points for as bullet points to kind of what the story is about. This tells me a lot, you know, murder, mystery, funny, you know, siblings, like that kind of thing. Slow burn is another great one. I think that is, these are all, again, great. I wouldn't actually remove any. What I would do is add. And I have talked about this in some of my previous reviews, which nobody watches those unless I'm reviewing your book. But basically you want to have your genre. as one of your tags. You want to have a subgenre, you want to have tropes, you want to have the setting if it's interesting. You want to have, like, if there's like a type of romance thing, like boy X boy, boy X girl, that kind of stuff. It doesn't sound like romance is here, but you want to have kind of like things like that, that you think would perk a reader, but are also kind of general. You don't want to have anything too specific. And I think that here you've done great. You don't have anything too specific aside from Sullivan siblings, but I do understand why you added that as a tag. So, I did create right before this morning, I did create a list of tags that should be pretty helpful to people who are like trying to find tags. I have it organized here by genre and the tag type. So I only put in setting, I only have setting, subgenre, and trope listed here, but you have setting, which is Canada, you have genres and subgenres, and you actually do have some tropes. I do also like your use of adjectives as far as like petty goes. That's interesting. I don't know how important that is to your story, but it is in your summary as well, so it must be a very common character trait. Another thing that people will do is they'll put like female POV, child POV, young adult, coming of age sounds like it might be helpful for you. There's a few different ones, but basically if we were to, tag. Okay, so if we were to sort this by genre, let's see here. What would your genre be? Mystery, romance, science fiction, thriller, young adults. Fantasy, historical fiction, horror, literary, mystery crime, romance, science fiction, thrillers. I'm going to put young adult. Oops. Oh. Hold up. I am new to Google Sheets. I'm used to Excel, where you can just you click on it and does the opposite. So I'm going to select literary and young adult. Let's see. Childhood memories, small town, dysfunctional family, the outsider is a trope. First love, love is the answer, incapable of love, useless or evil adults, the chosen one, dark family, discovering special powers, the missing or absent parents. Okay, so those are some tag options. I don't think those are actually great, but oops, wrong one. Again, coming of age is probably going to be helpful here. That I'm guessing that this is a coming of age story. You have mystery. If I were to get rid of one, I would probably put petty. If it is funny and it has, as far as tags go, you're number one on satire. So you have funny, you have satire. So what else really captures the vibe of your book? Is it really funny? Is it satirical? Is there something else you should be adding here? Is it a comedy? Is it a family comedy? Is it something more along those lines? I would look up maybe books that inspired your book or stories that you really enjoy that you think have some common themes, and look at those tags and go from there. That's what I would do. I think that would be helpful here. However, I think that you have a really great start. This seems like, if it wasn't so long, if I had like time to read this might be something I would actually check out. This looks pretty cool. I like it. So good job, Acorn DeFalco. I think that you have a really cool looking book. I hope that you get more reads. 8.2 thousand reads is really decent, especially considering how long it is. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, because the reads, if you have a really long book, one person reading your book might count for like 50 reads or something, or even more, depending on how many times they logged in to read your book. If you have a really short book, if you have a high amount of reads in a short book, that's kind of more impressive. However, it looks like people are sticking with your books, book. So I'd be interested to see how many people are staying through the entire 13-hour journey with you, and where people are dropping off, or if they're dropping off. So I guess my main notes here are cover and title are awesome. No real notes there, other than if you can add some type of a lift or a shadow to the title and your name, I would do that. And then if this is complete, even if you're in the editing phase, I would mark it as complete. Even if you're editing, I would mark it as complete. Although it says one new part. Character aesthetics. Okay. It looks like for the most part, yeah. I think mark it as complete. You might get some new readers. Mark it as complete, and I think you might be a little bit happier there. Okay. And that is it. So thanks for submitting, Acorn. Great book. And now I'm going back here. Okay. Acorn. Red Knight Rivera. Nasty Bloodline and Lethal Lullaby. If you're going to make just one book impression of a particular author, please make it Nasty Bloodline. Oh, okay. Well, I can do both. I have time for both. Why is it not letting me do this? This is so annoying. It's not letting me do that thing where it like just opens a new window when I click on my mouse like scroller thing. Okay. Nasty Bloodlines and what was the other one? The Lethal Lullaby. Okay. Let's start with the Lethal Lullaby. Okay, I love the cover. I love the font choices. I love the color choices. Looks like this is part of a series, The Diabolics, maybe? Oh, prequel to The Diabolics. Okay, I'm right. Very cool. Is that a snake? That looks really cool. My eyes are killing me today. Okay. Okay, that's not better. Jeez Louise. I think that's a snake. Okay. Again, I love the whole aesthetic going on with your cover. I like the title. I really, really like the design of your cover. My only thing is, I think that the writing, and I say this a lot, I think that the writing needs to be a little bit more legible. So I don't know if it's a font choice, if you just make it like slightly bigger. I would not be able to read that says lethal, even though it's a very, very cool font. That is, if I didn't see it on the side and you didn't already tell me that said the Lethal Lullaby, I would be guessing for a while on what that word is. So if it was up to me, I would probably change up that font a little bit. However, it's a very pretty font. I love the color choice. It looks like it's a little bit transparent, which is fine for Lullaby. However, the top, when you're going over when you're showing the Diabolics, I would make that either less transparent or I would make the font bigger or something so you can actually read it, because it does blend into the surrounding a little bit, which is really nice. Also, Red Knight Rivera needs to be either boldened or with some type of a lift or shadow to it so that you can read your name a little bit better. It's just a little bit thin. I always am doing these reviews knowing that people are pretty much seeing like a very, very small version of your cover, and that's what they're going to be making their decision off of. So I would make that bolder. However, and then also the picture in the background is very, very cool looking. I would maybe turn up not the brightness, what is that called? The whites, like where you can make the whites brighter, just so you can see if that's a snake or not. Because a snake being on the cover with the color choices that you have is very, very cool. I like the whole aesthetic. It just is a little, or maybe turn down the shadows or just play with it a little bit. You still want that very crisp, clean, like kind of dark aesthetic. But it would be nice if it was a little bit easier to read. So anyways, I do love the cover. You don't actually have to change anything, but the gamma or the contrast, yeah, you might know actually, Max, but yeah, I think something about it needs to probably be adjusted just because it is very dark. I know it's a dark aesthetic, but I feel like you can still maintain that aesthetic and just make it a little bit easier to see. I mean, people are complaining all the time nowadays about watching movies where the setting is dark and they can't hardly see anything. Game of Thrones is a huge one. People are complaining about, we get it. We want it to be dark. We want it to be, show that it's dark and maybe difficult for the characters to be seeing or whatever. However, where it's maybe not realistic, but the viewers want to actually see what's going on, and it's becoming this kind of more common thing where people are like, brighten it up. I don't want to have to squint to see it. I don't want to have to turn off all of my lights and use my blackout curtains in order to watch this movie. you know, same thing here. I think you just want to lift it a little bit just to make it easier to see what's happening. Again, I do love the aesthetic though. I think you can maintain it though. Okay, and just like the last one, with this one, I like to look up here where it says reads, votes, parts, time. This is complete and it's only an hour and 2 minutes long. A really short story. Love that. 292 reads, so it's not super exposed, but something, again, I had just mentioned. If you have reads on the short stories, those reads count per chapter and per times that you have opened it. So if you have a high read count on a short book, it's even more impressive because people don't open those a lot. And so you don't get like counted a bunch of times. It's very, very cool. 16 parts. Anyways, quick read. This sounds great. Let's read the summary. She was a cursed singer. He was the angel of death. A tale of cursed love. Haunted by a lethal gift, she was forsaken by her own kin, condemned to a life of abuse and abandonment. When sold off to the formidable man of Lahara Empire, Duke Kaiser Heil, as a bride, she realizes she was not merely cursed by blood, but also by fate. She anticipated her worth nothing of a life would be soon over. Okay, so worth nothing of a life. Maybe hyphenate that or use a different word. She anticipated her worth nothing of a life would be soon over the moment she stepped her foot into the cold floor of the duchy. Is it duchy? Yet within the opulent halls and under the gaze of her soul's captor, the witch discovers a paradox. Her songs, the harbinger of death, might also hold the power of her salvation, unveiling a destiny she never dared to dream of. Prequel of the Diabolics. Looks like prequel, but I'm sure that says prequel. Okay, so this is great. I don't really have any notes on the summary other than the ones that I brought up here for the worth nothing of a life. That sounds really awkward, and I probably, a normal person would have to read that a few times to understand what you're trying to say there. She was a cursed singer. He was the angel of death. So we're already getting... I love the lethal lullaby is an even cooler name once you read it. Haunted by a lethal gift, forsaken by her own kin. So loved for man. Okay. As a bride, she realizes she was not merely cursed by blood, but also fate. Her worth nothing life would be soon over the moment she stepped her foot onto the cold floor of the duchy. Yet within the opulent halls and under the gaze of her soul's captor, the witch discovers a paradox. Her songs, the harbinger of death, might also hold the power of her salvation. Okay, so this is really cool because you're building up the story. Okay, so it's like an arranged marriage type of situation. And she's going to fight her way out of this with her power, which she used to think as a curse, now is kind of more of like a weapon that she can wield. That sounds very cool. I would like potentially add a little bit more here about just to like you to hook more readers. I think it needs a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about the plot, a character, something else interesting that might happen. What do you think makes the book so good to read? I feel like this summary reads a little bit more of like something that you're like, oh, okay, so this is kind of like a taste of what it is. And that's what a summary is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a taste. I feel like there's a taste of what's going on with less of a hook. And I feel like I'm being really, really critical only because it is already very good. But I am a very character-driven reader. So if I want to know, I would maybe just kind of similar to the last one, if you're using just a few more adjectives here, sold off to the formidable man of Lahara Empire. Formidable is a great word to use. We don't really have a lot of adjectives on the main character, which we're going to be spending a lot of time with her. Maybe if we had more information on her, maybe what is her name? Maybe think of a good adjective, and it's hard to pin down a main character into one adjective or something, but if it was something like the shy or the I don't know. the shy witch, the downtrodden. Like I would just look for some good adjectives to describe your main character, and that might really help. That might sometimes small words like that can really really help. So I would kind of look into something like that. I think that it really does not need to change a bit. You have a good taste of your writing style, which is very epic fantasy writing style for sure. And it's well done. I mean, there's I don't see a lot of grammatical errors or really any that I could really point out because I'm not great with that stuff. But for me, you can tell that you're a talented writer when reading this. However, I do think it could just use a little bit more just to hook a reader. Like I want to already be kind of like invested in the story and the character. You have plot here, but you don't have much else. Or you do have much else. Okay, that's way too harsh. This is great and probably doesn't need to change at all. I'm just looking for something to say, just to be clear, because that's what I'm trying to do here. This is kind of perfect and it does not need to change. However, if you could add a little bit of information about the main character, that might beef it up and might hook readers a little bit better. Bookstagram. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to check you out. I just got an Instagram the other day, and I really want to get into like the book scene on Instagram because it seems very cool, but I have zero experience with social media at all. So Bookstagram, Book Talk, Curse, Dark, Epic Fantasy, Explicit, Fantasy Romance. Okay, if this is explicit, there's no mature content warning. So if it's not actually like smut or anything like that, you might want to remove explicit or add a mature content warning. Fantasy romance, historical, hot guys, imperial, interesting, lethal, love, magical creatures, new book, romance, short story, siren, woman power. Okay, thank you for whoever just I'm so not great at this. I need to go to my stream manager and see if I just got a new follower. Yeah, thank you for following me, Nerzo. You to bomb. So I think that these are actually really, really good tags. I may not change anything other than the explicit thing. Curse, dark, maybe instead of dark, it should be dark fantasy, or just leave it as dark fantasy romance. Historical. Is it historical or is it just historical in your universe? If it's not actually historical and involves some type of world history in it, I would probably remove historical. Hot guys, imperial, interesting, lethal, love, magical creatures, new book, romance, short story, siren, woman power. Love woman power. Love siren, since that's clearly where this is going. New book, Bookstagram, and Book Talk. Now, those are interesting tags. I'm not sure if I would remove them. I don't think I would remove them. You clearly have either an Instagram account and a TikTok account that you probably have created some content for this. I think that you have some really heavy hitting other tags that you don't need to worry about space. I wouldn't change any of the tags, honestly. I would say that this isn't hooking me as a fantasy reader, and it sounds like a very cool plot. This isn't hooking me for some reason, and I think it's because I don't know anything about the main character. And I would say it's that middle paragraph there. She anticipated her worth nothing of a life would be soon over the moment she stepped her foot into the cold floor of the douchey. Maybe let's beef that up. Let's get more on the main character. Let's get like more of a tragic backstory a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to say very much, which you have a great summary. Been telling myself to get back into reading again. Finding this stream might be your sign. It so should be your sign. You should definitely be reading. What's your favorite book, Nerzo, that you've ever read? You should get back into reading. You're back. Okay, good, because I was waiting to do yours because you were the first one. I was waiting to do yours until you were back. Had to get my baby down for a nap. Also, Red Knight is fabulous. Definitely recommend their books. I've read a couple. Okay, that's really good to know. That's awesome. I would say, yeah, this looks really good. This looks very like high fantasy, epic fantasy, well done, just based off of the summary and the title and everything, or the cover and everything. I just think that I just need a little bit more on the main character. Maybe because, again, people love a good plot, right? But the people, when they love a book, it's because of the characters. You want to get you hook people, you attach people to the people. Maybe this is a boring choice, but I read The Hobbit at a pretty young age, and that's always held a special place for me. That's not boring at all. The Hobbit kills. It's such a good book. Such a good book. I love it. Okay, Red Knight Rivera, let's go on to your next book because you requested 2 of them. So we had The Lethal Lullaby and Nasty Bloodline. This looks interesting. Nasty Bloodline. Okay. A lot of notes immediately on the cover. So this is a great picture, I would say. I think that you don't necessarily need to adjust the brightness or anything, even though it is a very dim book, because you know what's happening. For this cover, you are getting romance immediately, and especially because it's on Wattpad, I'm gonna assume, because the dude's wearing a suit, that this is some type of billionaire CEO type of romance, mafia romance, maybe. I don't know, but the suit and the obvious, intimate embrace is great. Wouldn't change the picture at all unless I read the summary and find out that doesn't match what's going on. Nasty Bloodline. The font, I cannot read this. Can anybody else read the word bloodline under the word nasty? Probably not. It's a very dark red and it's a very thin font. I can tell that it's a very pretty font. I feel like if you were to make that bigger, bolder, and nasty also needs to be bigger and bolder, I would absolutely do that. And it's a great color red, but it needs to be brighter to stand out more. I would keep the same shade, but make it brighter, something like that. Also, I cannot read the bottom at all. Nasty Bloodline book number 5, I think. Red Knight Rivera. And then at the top, I can't read that part at all. So if you want, I'm guessing that's a subheading, which I'm a huge fan of subheadings, not used enough, that's for sure. Whatever the subheading is needs to be bigger, more legible. Definitely work on that. I think you've chosen, it's the same as the last one, great aesthetic, make it more legible, especially considering it's Wattpad and the people are going to be looking at it on a really, really small screen, and nobody can read any of this. So I would fix those things and you're golden. Now looking at the reads, votes, parts, and time, another short one, hour and 36 minutes. Wow. You're pumping out these shorts one. That's really cool. People love a good short story, that's for sure. And let's read this summary here. You murdered them all. His father, his men, all gone. For you, I would do everything. Okay, I love that. So this is another good trope for Wattpad where it even has a list of tropes on here. I love that. She fell first, softcore, dark romance. Okay, what is that called? Hang on. What is that trope called where it is, let's go, romance, a happy ending, love triangle, forced pregnant, 11, who's lover's fake relationship, fated mates, misunderstanding, star-crossed. Dang it. It's a trope where basically the, it's like an obsessive man, the one where it's like, oh, that guy would do anything for me, like a violent man who is soft only for you type of thing. That's the trope that I'm seeing in this first line. When morbidity finds beauty and corrupts it. She was 12 when she first saw him, golden-eyed, kind-hearted, and utterly untouchable. He was 21 when he first met her, a lonely girl with too much yearning in her eyes. Just so we're clear, this seems like it's a 12-year-old and a 21-year-old. So I'm guessing that that's not the case here. I'm guessing that this is like 12 when she first saw him, and then skipping forward several years, hopefully like 8 years, he's 21, and that's when he first notices her. I'm guessing that's what it says. That needs to change. because it looks like it's a romance between a 12-year-old and a 21-year-old. So this is not a great start for that. I'm guessing that I'm off unless I find that it is a age gap romance, in which case I'm going to say this is horrible. But I'm guessing that this is more of just like she's been into him forever, and he has been, he's just now noticing her, which is a she fell first, he fell harder type of thing. Years passed, seasons changed, but one truth remained: he was never meant to be hers. Killian O'Shea was a man with secrets, dangerous ones. Running from his past, he built a quiet life in a small Irish town, far from the shadows that once owned him. But he never expected her, Eileen Sullivan, a girl with wide eyes and too much heart who kept returning to his bakery day after day, year after year. She wanted him, but he knew better, or so he thought, until the past came knocking. So, Nasty Bloodline 0.5, a dark age gap mafia romance. So this is an age gap between a 12-year-old and a 21-year-old. Years passed. Seasons changed. She's 12, he's 21. Years passed. They're both grown when they get together. Okay, my main issue with this is just grooming is a real thing. So whenever you do stories where they meet when one of them is a child and one isn't. My favorite book ever is like this, okay? Emma by Jane Austen. Mr. Knightley, the love interest, says that he fell in love with Emma since she was like 16. And he's like 8 years older than her or something. He's like quite a bit older than her in the book. And then they don't get together until she's like 21 or something. But that's, when you read stuff like that, it's like, she was 16. You can't be into a 16-year-old when you're in your 20s. It's taboo. And especially female readers mostly don't like it unless you're a 16-year-old female reader, in which case you don't see the issue with it because you see yourself as an adult. Now, this is more providing judgment on the actual book itself and the content of the book, which is not what I'm here to do. But I would definitely make it clear somewhere in this summary that they've been friends for a long time. They've known each other for a long time, and this book takes place after they're both adults. The fact that she saw him, she was 12 when she first saw him. Did she have a crush on him like immediately? Like, I don't know. I would say if it's not problematic and you're just like, wait, no, that's not the impression I'm trying to get off, make sure that comes off in your summary. Otherwise, you might get some creeps trying to read this, or you're turning away readers like me who are like, pass. I'm not into guys grooming 12-year-olds. I'm not into a complicated thing because I've just seen it happen too many times where, you see 12-year-old girls, 12 to 16-year-olds falling for older guys and the older guys being into it, so and the girls do not see an issue with it until they're older. And then they realize, wow, I was just a kid and I didn't think I was a kid. And so it's like an older reader like me would have a problem with this. The bulk of Wattpad readers, I think, are teenage girls, honestly. So that's probably fine. But it is problematic. If it's not supposed to be problematic, I would bring it up. Family, friends. This really throws me in the summary. That really, really throws me. Okay. She wanted him, but he knew better. I don't know. Dark age gap mafia romance. I think that I just don't like this. I think I just don't like it because of the content, and I think it's very icky, so I'm really sorry. 5G. Imagine a 1-star review from someone mad that the blurb was misleading and there's no underage romance. Exactly. However, the tag, it's very a dark age gap romance. She wanted him, but he knew better. I don't know. Also, 5G, I love your writing. I'm a big fan. My favorite is Hi Mom, or whatever that story was really good. Not crazy about Suck a Dick Mountain, but I thought it was also hilarious. Okay. Tropes. Irish Mafia, 1970s, Friends to Lovers, Love at First Sight. Love at First Sight. She's 12. Okay. She fell first. He falls harder. Soft car. Ugh. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about River. Sorry, 5G. Okay. So tags look great. Age gap, angst with happy ending, bookstagram, book talk, dark love, found, friends to lovers, heart-wrenching, interesting, Irish, life, love at first sight, mafia romance, mystery, recommendations, romance, short story, Wattpad romance. Okay. I don't think I have more to say on this one. I think that the tags are great. I would probably get rid of recommendations. I don't know what that means. Also found, I would get rid of that. Life is a little bit too vague. You might, and I'm fine with generalizing in the tags for searchability, but it might be more of a growth type of thing. I don't know. Interesting, it was on their last one too. Someone who just watched American Beauty and wanted more would be pissed if they read this. Yeah, I would just, interesting is fine as a tag. It's not great. It's in the last one too. But yeah. This one does good with the describing of the characters, which makes it more desirable. I think I'm just so turned off by the content that I'm just like, and I'm so sorry, by the way, author Red Knight Rivera. I'm really sorry. I really hate age gap romance. I think that they're so yucky and bad for humanity. But you're a talented writer, so keep it up. Okay, author, Oracle. I would add into the blurb that they are both consenting adults when they get together to attract the right readers, not creeps. Yes, I would definitely add that. I know that people like me would be like, oh, so he groomed her and that he waited until she turned 18 to be with her. That's so not problematic at all. But I would definitely add that this is not a romance between a 12-year-old and a 21-year-old. It's between a 20-year-old and a I'm good at math. Hang on. Oh my gosh. A 20-year-old and a 29-year-old. So okay, I won't say any more. Sorry. Okay. Wet Pavement. Let's do this, author Oracle. Ooh. I already really like the cover. Sorry, I'm just so hungry. Wet Pavement. Motorcycle, title name. Love it. A romance novel by T.M. Oracle. Gosh, I really like this. I love the motorcycle culture. Every once in a while, my YouTube Shorts algorithm will get like flooded with the motorcyclists, and it's so much fun. Oh, hang on, my overlay disappeared. I don't know why it does that. I love the title as a motorcycle book. That is so cool. It is very easy to read. Wet Pavement. I like the colors. I like the font choices. A romance novel by T.M. Oracle is small and hard to read. However, To be honest, you're not mad about someone wasting creep's time, for real. I would say the romance novel by T.M. Oracle probably can be in bold, and if you can think of a cool subheading, that would probably just like really make this so awesome. But that would be if you could think of one that's good. Anyways, it looks like you just started this ongoing mature, less than 5 minutes, only one part so far. I already like it. I've not read any like motorcycle themed books. I don't know anybody who rides a motorcycle. You would have to put a gun to my head to get me on a motorcycle. It just really freaks me out. But I love the idea. And you know what I realized the idea is you can't see their faces. You're just picturing a hottie underneath that motorcycle. Yeah, I like the picture that you've chosen. However, you could probably even, yes, it's new. I'm excited. Also, same. I'm scared of them. Okay. Yeah, they're really good. I would say this is a really good photograph. However, I know that there are a lot of really good photographs for motorcyclists, and you could really take advantage of what is available online of the motorcyclist. Hang on. My dress is like bugging me. Okay. It was like bunched up and I was sitting on it and it was driving me. Oh, Cherry. I'm wearing my dress. Oh yeah, of course Cherry would ride have ridden a motorcycle. I forgot about that. I remember your motorcycle days. You would. I would never. Okay. Let's read this summary. Already fan. Okay, hang on. I'm going to eat this and then... You have never driven one? Okay. Hang on, let me eat this. Backseat rider. My husband is like afraid of riding a horse. I don't think he would ever ride a motorcycle. You know what's really funny? Is I'm attracted to parts of my husband that are like the opposite of like motorcyclists. So it's like, you've been on a few as a backseat rider and I'm too scared to do it again. The things that I'm attracted to with my husband, it's more like, oh my gosh, look at how he's like, we went on a hike one time and we hiked to the top of this rock climbed a little bit to the top of this mountain. And then we watched the sunset. It was amazing. And then we realized we had to go back down the mountain in the dark because we watched the sunset at the top of the mountain. And I was like, oh no, I'm an idiot. And he's like, man, this stinks. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Then he pulls out 2 headlamps out of his bag that he had. And that I remember in that moment, I was like, gosh, I want to marry this guy. He just has headlamps. No big deal, but he's prepared for every single scenario. Anyways, different strokes for different folks. Okay. I'm already so in on this story. Okay. Author Oracle, summary. Rainy days, stormy nights, the sound of tires on wet pavement. Raina is young and reckless. Her choices are her choices as carefree as the wind that whips through her hair as she loses herself to the hum of her motorcycle as she desperately tries to outrun her troubled past. Is the person on the cover supposed to be male or female? That should be a little bit more obvious, I feel like. Will they, won't we thing with a guy who rode a motorcycle and it was so paranoid he would somehow find out that my sexy characters were on anything. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. When Raina wins a midnight race against a stranger, she assumes all that awaits her is a large sum of money and a way to escape the city that holds nothing but bad memories for her. But Raina gets more than she bargained for when she meets Kenji, handsome, mysterious, and the man who now owes Raina a large sum of money. Using large sum of money twice is probably too much. That close together. Kenji is a man trying his best to forget his past, traveling from city to city, winning illegal street races to make it by Things aren't great, but it's better than what he had before. When Kenji makes the mistake of betting more money than he has on a street race, he finds himself in debt to a beautiful woman with curly hair and eyes as gray as storm clouds. Seeking a way to make the money, Kenji now owes Reina. He enters himself into the largest illegal street race known to those who seek the thrill of it, with the prize money being more than enough to pay back the feisty woman who demands payment. But when feelings begin to surface, Kenji will fear losing more than the biggest race of his life. He will fear losing the woman with a name like Rain and a storm in her soul. Ooh, I actually just got chills. Make it by, get by. Hang on. Okay, yeah. Winning illegal street races to make it by should be, thank you so much, Max. Winning illegal street races to get by. That's right. This looks very, very cool. I love the summary. I don't have a lot of changes other than the ones I mentioned as I was reading. I think this is great. I especially like that ending. The woman with a name like Rain and a storm in her soul. I really like that. That's great. Adult, bad boy, bad girl, book talk, chick lit, contemporary, grumpy, and sunshine. I love that. Okay, I have a feeling I would really like Kenji if I read it. Hot, love, mature, motorcycle racing, motorcycle romance, new. Maybe get rid of new. New adult, new romance, obsession, protective, racing, romance, secret, slow burn, steamy, street racing, tension. I love this. I love that. I love all of those. If you have an opportunity for more tags, I love the Grumpy Sunshine one. Secrets. Mystery. I would say get rid of new. I love it. People are going to know motorcycle racing, motorcycle romance. I love it. We get it. It's amazing. Important question. Which way does she lean in a turn? Wouldn't it be into the turn? Or is that a gay joke? Great job, Author Oracle. Sorry I don't have more to recommend here. It's just better than what I could do. That's all I can say. This is driving me crazy. Okay. Why isn't it letting me click open a new window? That's so annoying. Gonna put book talk as a tag on your book? You can lean the other way to push the motorcycle into the road. Oh, I don't know anything about that. We found us a motorcycle dude, guys. I need to become a booktube girl. Text says I got the look. Apparently look like a book talk girl. Okay, the Lycan's Flame, guys. Okay. The Lycan's Flame by Hazel Glips. Cannot read the very top there. Leaning is part of how you steer on a motorcycle. Yeah. Okay, so number one here, this is a very, very cool cover. It's like a wolf and a phoenix. It needs to be brightened up because I did not see the wolf until I opened it much bigger, and a lot of people don't see it as big as I have it on my screen. They're looking at it a lot smaller. I would say the Lycan's Flame, font size, color, and Hazel Glips is perfect. Your subheading, which I've mentioned a million times, I'm a huge fan of subheadings, needs to be bigger. I can't read that at all, and this is about as big as it gets. So make that bigger. I want to be able to read it. Make the picture, keeping the aesthetic of the dramatic darkness, fire, smoke type thing that's going on here, and brighten it so that we can see what's going on. Okay. Now and other than that, I don't have any changes. Very cool cover. Great title. The Lycan's Flame mixed with this cover is very, very cool. Lycan again is a very cool word to use when referring to wolfy stuff. Okay. And I'm a werewolf fan. I don't read a lot of werewolf books. But I like the idea. So anyways, great. I love the word Lycan and Lycan's Flame and the Phoenix. It looks awesome. Now, I always look at this part here. So just to give me a feel of the chapter length of books and whether or not how far am I going to be into this? Looks like the time is 3 hours and 43 minutes, 32 parts. These are pretty short chapters. Which is cool. People love short chapters. I can't make it happen. It's still ongoing, so this isn't necessarily done, but it's ongoing, mature, very cool. Let's read the summary. Her love is a weapon. It's killed before, and this time she's sworn it won't happen again. Everyone at Blackthorn University thinks Kara is just another human girl juggling midterms, frat parties, and overpriced lattes. No one suspects the truth, that she's a phoenix shifter, hiding in plain sight in a world ruled by werewolves and lycans. Even her closest friends don't know the fire simmering beneath her skin. But Kara isn't just hiding from them. She's hiding from fate, from the one thing she dreads more than anything else, her mate. She's done letting her love be a death sentence. She won't survive another loss. The scars she bears run deeper than flesh. So when Riker, the dangerously magnetic Lycan general, realizes Kara is his fated mate, she does exactly what she swore she would. She pushes him away again and again and again. But Lycans don't walk away from their mates. And Riker, he's dominant, possessive, and utterly relentless. He's a storm she can't outrun, a flame that won't go out, and every heated glance, every stolen moment threatens to shatter the walls she's spent years building. As secrets ignite and her past begins to unravel, Kara must face the truth. Can she let herself love again, knowing it would destroy them both? Or will her lies and the deadly curse entwined with her love be the very thing that dooms them forever? Chapter updates occur every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. PST. I love this schedule. That's very cool. I like the summary a lot. You get everything that you need from this summary. As I've mentioned it previously, your summary is a really great taste of the writing style. I think that this does a good job. I would trust this writer to write a book for it to be coherent for me to read, because Wattpad, you oftentimes get a book that is just so many grammatical spelling errors, broken sentences, run-ons, the whole thing. This is pretty good. I like this a lot. It's got a really intriguing plot. You get enough on the characters. I love the description of Riker, especially for a werewolf romance, dominant, possessive, and utterly relentless. People who are reading werewolf romances, that's what they want from their love interest, so that's very cool. I love that she has extra special powers. I love the summary. Great job, and no real notes other than down here where it says, or will her lies, and it has like dash dash. This needs to be an M dash, so you just need to do dash dash space, and then it will turn, your computer should automatically, or your keyboard or whatever should automatically turn it into an M dash. You need the spaces after, so just delete that and restart. And same here. And the deadly curse entwined with their love, dash dash, or just make it commas there. It's just a little bit, it's fine. It's just, that's what it should be. Other than that, this is really, really cool. I feel like Cherry writes characters like this where it's like that they're supposed to end up with a person, but it takes them a little bit, not like slow burn, but she's like fighting off her amazing love interest, and that's going to be fun for the readers. Cherry, whoop whoop. Okay, let's look at the tags here. Angst, dark romance, drama, fated mates, feisty, gore. Oh, gore. Heartbreak, hidden identity, love, Lycan, mature, obsessed, possessive, POV. So I would put which POV? Multiple POV, split POV, male POV, female POV, first POV, third POV. Put what POV? Because obviously we're reading some point of view. Romance, secret, secrets, sexy, shifter, smut warning, spicy, strong female lead, supernatural, trauma, violence, werewolf. This sounds cool. This sounds very cool for a werewolf romance. I like this. Sounds like there's more to it than probably your typical Wattpad werewolf romance. I've, unfortunately read a few of them. This seems pretty cool. Oh, and this should probably be split POV because I see this Kara Riker. So I like this. You had me at trauma. You had me at gore. Apparently, I'm always like surprised when I like read this stuff, like the things that hook me, and it's I know myself pretty well. So gore is one thing. I don't know what it is. I love like bloody violence. So, and violence is on here. Very cool. Angst, dark romance, drama. Let's look really quick on the on my awesome tags spreadsheet that I created. We'll do romance and fantasy here. Magical creatures might be good. Forbidden, no. Fake religion, other woman, man, incapable. Love for sight, marriage of convenience, fated mates. Is that listed here? Yep, it is. It's already listed. Okay. The misunderstanding. Children's fantasy, comic fantasy, dark fantasy, erotic fantasy, fairy tale fantasy, heroic fantasy, high fantasy, historical fantasy, epic fantasy, low fantasy, intrusion fantasy. It could be low fantasy or urban fantasy based on the description. Werewolf fantasy is obviously one. Let's see. Erotica fantasy, gothic, historical. Yeah, I think that the tags are pretty great. The tags are great. I really don't have any other notes. So, awesome job, Hazel Glips. This is really cool. Just some minor changes on the cover, and I think you're set. And they don't really need to be changed. I think that this is a really intriguing looking book, for sure. Wattpad loves their werewolf romance. If you go to browse, werewolf is one of an entire genre is just werewolves. People love their werewolves, and this actually looks good as far as like a werewolf romance. And stereotypical in the sense that people who want to read a werewolf romance will want their love interest to have these traits, and they'll want to have a feisty female counterpart. So anyways, very cool. Looks like a good book. I hope you get more reads. Looks like you've already got a decent amount, but get some more, man. Get some more reads. Get some more comments. That's what we're out here for, right? We just want people to read our book. Let's read the next one. Okay, second to last one. Nice. Oh, I forgot what he said. He wanted me to read. Okay. Hi, would you mind checking out one of my books, 6x9, a folklore? It's kind of a folk horror genre based from South Asia folktale, although I am a genre shifter. That's my first attempt at horror. Cool. 6x9. Hilariously, though, everybody thinks of something different when they think of 6x9, right? Is that just me? Am I just like a perv? Hang on. The sun's moved. I'm going to update my thing here. Okay. Not just you, okay? Okay. So, 6x9 of Folklore 2025. A lot going on with this. Okay, let's start. I love the cover. I love the bonsai. I love the yin yang. I love the moon. Is there two moons? What is that? Is that a globe? There's something going on here. I love the cityscape. I love the whole thing. I like the font choice for 6x9 and the color choice and everything like that. It looks good. I wouldn't change anything. It says Wattpad on here. Is this a Wattpad exclusive. So I'm assuming that there's some type of association with Wattpad. If not, I would remove the Wattpad, so that it's not, people don't think that this is a Wattpad exclusive, but maybe it is. Wattie's 2025 Wattie Awards. Did you win a Wattie? No. If they won a Wattie, oh, it's 2025. Haven't won a Wattie yet. Going for a Wattie. Okay. I like the cover. It's eye-catching. Yeah, I like the cover too. It's also slightly minimalist for Wattpad. It's unique for Wattpad. I really like it. I would say as far as like the balance, ironically, is a little bit off, just because there's that big blank chunk of black at the top of the book. I would just inch maybe everything up a little bit more. Just the title. You just scooch it up, if that's an option. Okay. Cherry agrees with me. She's got that eye for detail. Okay, this is a short one. It's complete, and it's only 4.5 hours to read. Crazy. Okay. Let me finish eating this. Only take me a sec. My husband just sent me a video of my daughter singing in the back of the car with her headphones on. Okay, summary. Megpur was once known as Surjopara, which means the sunny neighborhood. The people used to work happily, merrily, and firmly until demons terrorized the villagers in a manner that they switch off the lights at 6 o'clock, except for the holy places and the village's chairperson. Farms became draughts. People turned skeptical, love transferred to hatred, and peace broke into chaos. Okay, great summary. I think it's more of an opening than a summary. Also, the people used to work happily. So this second sentence I don't like. And it's not that I don't like the content, it's that it's a run-on. So the people used to work happily, merrily, and firmly. Okay, hang on. Until demons terrorize the villagers in a manner that they switch off. Sorry, it's not the second sentence, the third sentence. Demons terrorize the villagers in a manner that they switch off the lights at 6 o'clock, except for the holy places and the village's chairperson. This sentence doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't actually know what this is trying to say. So do demons terrorize the villagers by turning off the lights, or does the town turn off the lights except for the holy places for some reason because it attracts the demons or something like that? So this is pretty confusing. I would say that the summary is a little bit confusing. I get the vibe that you're going for, that there's demons that exist, and again, they're terrorizing the villagers. And then it's like basically they've destroyed the city because of their presence. And then that's what I'm getting here. What is the actual plot? What is the goal? Who is the main character? I feel like the summary that you gave me, it's like a folklore-based thing, was a little bit better than what your actual summary is. Here, definitely fix this third sentence because I don't understand it. That's what I was thinking, Max, but I'm not sure if that's what they're trying to say here. So I would say, oh my gosh. I would say let's fix that. And then also, it shouldn't end there. So you've given us a good introduction to the setting. Now give us a good introduction to the characters that we're going to be spending time with. So would the next one be something like Max isn't like everybody else. he wants he wants things to he remembers how things used to be and wants to return to it. Let's learn about our hero or heroine. I would love to learn more about that. We don't have anything on them. I would use adjectives like hook us to the character. We've created a kind of cool world in this first paragraph. Let's give us a hint at the actual plot. What are they going to do about it? Is the main character, is a quirky main character somehow going to figure this out? Like that's is he going to get more than he bargained for? Like that kind of thing. I would add another sentence or another paragraph here, or just a couple sentences on the character and what the plans are. That's what I would say on this summary. Also probably read up on comma usage. The fact there's no Oxford comma, but looks like there are at least 3 unnecessary and incorrect commas irks you. Okay, so people turn skeptical. Let's see. Yeah, so after Megpur, you don't need a comma, was once known as Surjopara, which means the sunny neighborhood. I don't know if you need a comma after that. That's unnecessary. The people used to work happily, merrily, and firmly. The Oxford comma is a favorite of a lot of people. You do not need it. It's not necessarily, but I would say just to make it read a little bit smoother, Oxford commas do help. So after merrily, I would put a comma. Until, comma, I would get rid of the comma after until. I would restructure that whole sentence, actually. Farms became draughts. I like the comma after that. People turned skeptical. I like the comma after that. Love transferred to hatred. And again, we're missing the Oxford comma. Love transferred to hatred, comma, and peace broke into chaos. In the Oxford commas, we trust. Yeah. Hey, Lotus. Yeah, we like the Oxford commas for sure. They're just easier. They're easier to organize things in our brain and understand the sentence. They're very useful. And, people who are afraid of using too many commas might leave them out or be like, I don't need it here. But it really does help the reader to not have to think too much while reading, and helps us, again, understand what's going on without having to work too hard. So if you want somebody to stay immersed in your story, Oxford commas are a shocking tool to help with that. If you want somebody to realize that they're reading, leave them out. How's that? Okay, let's read the tags. Dark, detective, gin, fantasy, folktale, ghost adventures, horror thriller, love, mythology, paranormal, romance, thriller, village, Wattys 2025, Watty Awards. Okay, these are all fabulous. I love this. Let's add more. You have an opportunity to add more tags. Let's do it. And I'm going to use, again, my tag thing, because I know that I found some more stuff. So with the tags, you want to do a few things. You want to have, if the setting is interesting, you want to basically point out the things that are interesting about your story, and also tag it so that your audience can find you. You want your readers to be able to find your book, right? So put things that are interesting. You have folktale there, ghost adventures, horror thriller. Those are all really, really good. Gin, detective is another good one. This seems like, based just on the tags, seems like a very enticing story. You can add more to it. So let's do that. I think that, let's see here. We're going to get rid of romance. Let's add it. Horror, mystery, thriller, suspense. Okay, let's see. Powerful artifacts, magical creatures, good versus evil. Those could be good ones to add. These are just based under tropes, genres, subgenres. If there are any celebrities, time periods as far as settings, places as far as settings, if this is happening in China, put China. If it's happening in Tokyo, or, big cities, put that. If it's happening in a small town, which you already put in here, it's Surjopara. But where is Surjopara? Is it China? Is it the Philippines? Where is this? So that could be fun. Or if it's a made up world that you've created, a made up country, then don't put anything unless you're already a famous author. Let's see. Deal with the devil, creepy settings, unhappy ending, defeated monster, unlikable victim, close quarters, alibi, critical. Let's see. Missing children, spouses, gaslighter, stalker. These are different fantasies. Fairy tale fantasy. I don't know. Magical realism might be a good one. Magical realism is just where, everybody knows about magic. It's a part of the world. The tense usage is also wrong. The writer is probably English second language, so I don't want this to sound harsh, but if you are going for a Wadi, you're going to need to study the language a little harder and not mix up present and past tense. Oops, I just realized I misspelled dark here. Oops, I forgot my space. Okay, let's see. Monster horror. Demons. I mean, there's mention of demons here. I would definitely add demons as a tag. That's interesting to a lot of people. If there's a style of magic that is, it's like a folklore type of a specific folklore that you are trying to go at, I would include tags where it's like, oh, this is a story from this type of folklore, like if it's German folklore, you want to know, like if it's German because the Germans are insane, or like, like you can be a little bit specific because that might like perk somebody's interest. Like, oh, I've never read anything from, like, I don't know a lot about Chinese folktales. Like, I'd love to learn more. That's kind of cool. So you have Jinn. I would add demon. I would add, if there is a time period that this is working with, maybe do that. If there is a country or a popular city around here, I would add that. Yeah. And I didn't really notice the tense change very much. I was a little bit distracted by the other things going on in the summary. But if you do want to win a Wadi, that is true. You're going to want to have tense changes. However, something's up with Wattpad right now, so do whatever you want. Ghost adventures. If it's ghost adventures, maybe also put ghosts. Maybe put you already put paranormal. Romance, thriller, village. I think that you should look into more subgenres. Give us more on the character. Give us more on the plot. Obviously, there is going to be a character who's going to try and fix the town. It's not really hinted at, but it's kind of like we're gonna be guessing that that's what's trying to happen in the book based off of what you have provided here. But yeah, I think that I think you have a lot of opportunity with the tags here, so I would work on that. But other than that, good job, Famid. Good job. Great. I like the cover too. Okay. Is this my last one? Yeah, because I already did Blobbies last night. Irella. Hi, I would love to review Right Where You Left Me. Okay. Right Where You Left Me. Let's look her up. Okay, so this is two people. If you cannot see this, it's two people kind of like looking like they're about to go in for a kiss. This photo needs to be brightened big time or choose a different photo. You can hardly see, like I can hardly see what's going on here. You definitely can't read a novel by Irella S at the bottom. That's way too small and dull and thin. Right Where You Left Me. I don't really have a problem with the font. I would make it bolder if you can. You can read it fine, but it's only because the picture that is chosen is so dark. And it's basically a black screen with, with a little bit of shading to hint that there's a silhouette there. So I would pick a totally different picture for the background or just brighten this one up because you're losing your cover is like a lot of people are like, my story is what I care about. We're writers. We care about our story. We don't necessarily care a ton about our cover. We can have fun with our cover, but we're not like, oh, it's very important. I think we really lose out on an opportunity to hook a reader when we don't spend a lot of time on the cover. And a lot of people, they're lacking in resources. They may have a vision for their cover that they cannot execute without using AI. And so we end up just kind of like being like, okay, whatever. I don't really care about the cover. I just care about the book. The cover is a massive opportunity. You don't want to let your cover suck. My cover of my book, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. And Cherry is amazing and brought my vision to life on the cover. But just like I'm saying with this one, you know, the people are gonna be looking at it on a small screen. You want it to have like lots of details, but pick a photo or pick a piece of art that's not AI if you can, and make it so that it will catch somebody's eye. Romance is easy. You get two people about to kiss, people are like, oh, is there going to be two people about to kiss in this book? Because I like it when two people are about to kiss, when they're in love and there's sexual tension, you know? So you chose a great photo. You just can't see what's going on. Get the most bang for your buck. It's one photo to encapsulate your entire book. Make it right, okay? And then the font, you want to be able to read the title. Right Where You Left Me is great. If you brighten up this photo, it's already pixely as it is right now. You're gonna want to bolden it up. The cover sells your profit. Also, there's a ton of artists who will do commissions for either really cheap or just credit. Yeah, that's true. That's also true. You can find cover artists, a lot of them on Wattpad. A lot of them do use AI, so you would want to ask them, you know, do you use AI for your cover if you're unless you don't care about the AI thing, which we're not going to get into now. But you personally know people who would design a cover for like $5 to $10. Yeah. I feel like I bet you I have like a few people too in my contacts where I'm like, oh yeah, I could probably get them to make me a cover for pretty cheap or just credit, you know? And I know somebody who just randomly did it because they were nice. So, but anyways, that's your book, you know, people do judge a book by their cover. I go into Barnes and Noble frequently just to look at the books. And I stop when I see a book that I feel like matches my energy. So if I see something that looks magic but not too flowery, not too complicated, then I'm like, okay, what's this? That matches my vibe. If I see, okay, first of all, I'm going to show you guys something. This book, look at the cover on this. It is a cat in a business suit. I immediately stopped when I saw this and was like, what is this book about? What is that book about? A cat in a business suit? I immediately have to see it. I have to read it. I'm glad I did. It's a great book. If you have not read it, Starter Villain by John Scalzi. But like, this stopped me in my tracks. Get yourself a cover that does that. This is very, very cool. I told my husband about my cover idea, which involves a woman flipping off the camera. And he was like, but if you actually had that printed, we wouldn't even be able to have it in the house. Like, the kids wouldn't be able to see it. Like, why would you want that to be your cover? And I'm like, but it matches my main character. Whatever. Anyways, this is the kind of stuff that if you can get it, do it. Because people will buy this just for the cover, right? They will be like, I need this book. It's a cat in a suit. I need it. That's what I thought when I saw it. This is amazing. My cat businessman suit. My daughter knew about this. She calls it my cat businessman book. It's amazing. Find something like that. If you're going to do a photo, find something where it's like, oh my goodness, two beautiful people about to kiss. That's right up my alley. I love watching beautiful people kiss. It's awesome. So, anyways, food for thought. I'm trying to think of. I don't know. There's also, okay. Anyway. You gotta do it. You gotta beef up those pictures, guys. Take an opportunity to do it. Okay, let's read the opening here. It looks like this is just started. There's 5 parts. It's 22 minutes long and 5 parts. These are some short chapters, dude. Ongoing, mature. Baking cookies and watching this when I should be cooking dinner right now. Stop everything you're doing. Just order takeout, okay? You were never mine to lose. For a woman in her late 20s, Valerie thinks she has everything under control except her love life. She's thriving with a perfect business in a cozy small town, but she can't ignore the constant worry of her grandmother and her father, both insistent on the fact that she needs someone to lean on. And then there is a demand she can't refuse. Her best friend's wedding is in 3 months, and the maid of honor, she must bring a date, no exceptions. 8 double dates, 1 last ditch pact, real efforts. If nothing clicks, she's off the hook. That's the deal. But then comes date number 3, and her entire plan shatters because sitting across from her is the boy she swore she'd never see again, the one who left her with more questions than closure. What starts as a game becomes painfully real, a quiet unraveling of everything she thought she knew about love, about forgiveness, about herself, because sometimes the past doesn't stay where you left it. Sometimes it shows up with a crooked smile and a second chance. I like the way that ended. Sometimes it shows up with a crooked smile and a second chance. I really, really like that. A lot of grammatical errors in this, a lot of like broken paragraphs that probably don't need to be broken. I would definitely work on that. There's some strange capitalization here. But I like it. I would say once it's cleaned up, the idea is coming through really clearly. It's a fun idea. Right where you left me, it's second chance love. It is probably a little bit enemies to lovers just because they're exes. And so the love story is obviously going to be about them. Okay, my back. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I like this. I especially like that ending because sometimes the past doesn't stay where you left it. Sometimes it shows up with a crooked smile and a second chance. I really like that. I basically like the summary a lot. Grammatically, it needs a ton of work, which you're going to assume that the rest of the book has, like, again, this is a taste of the author's writing style and writing capabilities. So this is going to show us that, maybe they're new to writing or young or something like that. And so you're going to have to deal with this, but it does sound like a very cool story. So very cute, very chick lit. And so here we go into the tags: cozy, emotional, fake dating, heartfelt, heartbreak, love story, regret, romance, second chance, small towns, Taylor Swift, wedding. Taylor Swift, I'm interested to see, is Taylor Swift present? Is this like a Taylor Swift fanfic? If not, get rid of Taylor Swift. Unless, yeah, I would get rid of that. I would say, unless it's like a heavily themed like Taylor Swift thing where it's like every chapter is based off of whatever songs or something crazy like that. Like I would just remove this Taylor Swift thing. Add your genres here. So again, genres, tropes, setting. You have small town, which is great. You want that sort of stuff. Taylor Swift, I'm sold. Book inspired by T Swift lyrics. That would be fun for Swifties, huh? Is if you like just took a song for every chapter and just made it into a book. Okay. Taylor Swift, I'm closing the tab and clearing my browser search history. So Taylor Swift is very divisive. So if you're going to have Taylor Swift as a tag or as a main theme within your book, just know the Swifties are going to eat it up. And the people who aren't a big fan of Taylor Swift are kind of going to like cool off on it. But your audience, if you're like, yeah, I totally want all the Swifties coming at me, then include Taylor Swift if it's, again, a Taylor Swift themed book. But if it's not, again, don't include Taylor Swift. No need to lose out on an audience if you don't have to, unless you're like, Taylor Swifties are so going to get this. This is going to be great. Then Taylor Swifties. Anyways, do what you want. Just know that might ostracize some of your audience that you would like. Somebody like me who's just like not really hot or cold on Taylor Swift. I'm pretty lukewarm on Taylor Swift. I like probably like 3 or 4 of her songs. I don't know anything about her as a celebrity. It wouldn't necessarily turn me off, but I would be like, am I about to read a bunch of Taylor Swift, like a Taylor Swift fanfic when I'm not like a fan, you know? So, but it wouldn't turn me away like it would Cherry. Like there are certain people who are like, I'm so tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, I'm out, and they don't like her music. And then there's people like, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift, yes, I'm sold, like Author Oracle. So you can see it right now. You get all three of us. You get Author Oracle, Swifty, Cherry Berry, anti-Swifty, and me, who doesn't really care either way. So let's add some tags to this. I think that you have an opportunity, definitely romance in the romance section. So romance is a genre here. I would add oh, my battery on my thing is dying. I need to replace my battery. I would add chick lit, obviously. Is it fake dating? Is it enemies to lovers? Is it let's look at these tropes here. Hang on. Okay. Why is it doing this? Okay. Happy ending, love triangle, forced proximity, forbidden love, enemies to lovers, fake relationship, um, unexpected love interest could be good. Misunderstanding, chick lit, romance. I've definitely changed that to chick lit for sure. Story of holiday romance, military romance, multicultural romance, paranormal regency, romantic, sensual romance, sweet romance, time travel romance. Yeah, I would have just said chick lit for sure. Sounds like she thinks it's fake dating, plans for it to be fake dating, then it goes down the drain. That's probably what it is. That's what all fake dating is. So it sounds to me, it sounds like the plot is she's trying to find a date. I don't know what another thing is 8 double dates, 1 last ditch pact. What is 8 double dates? That's what I want to know. But then comes date number 3 and her entire plan shatters. Was she like planning on dating all 8 and then just picking from those 8 men? That would be interesting. I don't know. Let's also get, I always like hints at the character. Just use an adjective to describe the character at some point. You need a lot more tags. Chick lit should be one of them. Oh, hang on. Yeah. I don't have any great ideas. I'm like burnt out on tags right now because I spent that entire time making my spreadsheet, which isn't as useful as I thought it would be. But I think that this looks good. Definitely update the cover. Definitely clean up the summary and then add some more tags. But this looks like it's a very cute idea. I bet